back. I'm Rashid.
And I'm Joffrey.
All right, so you have a great background in the back of you. I mean, like I like our podcast room too, but I mean, we were just talking about relaxation and burnout, and you're actually taking some time out to refocus the vision, spend some time with family. Where are you at right now, anyways?
Yeah, and this is not a CG background. So I'm actually here in the mountains of San Diego. It's at Cheval Winery over here, staying in a nice little villa with the family. So um, I'm really big on designing and setting up your life to be not only in context of your work goals, but overall your family goals. So part of my getaway was, coming out here doing some work, but escaping, enjoy the, and by the way, escaping 110-degree heat from Palm Springs. And don't hate me on this one, but right now there's a beautiful breeze, and it's probably about 73 outside right now. So. I actually have a nice little my Nespresso over here, enjoying this. It's getting a little chilly out here. Actually, I might have to go get a coat. So
That's
I know
nice.
I know I'm just totally rubbing that in. But yeah, here at the winery, I'm gonna have to wrap
Mhm.
this up quick because they're just starting the wine downstairs right now. So
Okay,
maybe
okay.
if we have some time, and if you guys don't mind, if time permits, love to do a little walkthrough of the place, kind of show you the grounds here
Oh yeah,
before we
just
cut out.
just just make a beeline for where the wine's at.
Right?
That's what I needed. All right, so even
Most
like this
definitely.
concept, so I remember when me and you first started engaging in business too. I used to tell you about my bi-monthly getaway, just figure out a spot and just go there and just like zone in, just relax a little bit. How important is that to just get away out of like your normal environment as an entrepreneur, just go somewhere to just like recalibrate and get back into
Mhm.
alignment with who you are and your vision.
Well, I think one thing right off the bat is you only have one life, and this isn't your practice life. Like this every day you wake up, it's what you make of it, and every day that goes by, every week, every month, every year, you're going to look back on it, and is it just
Yep.
one continuous Groundhog Day, or did you break up the monotony? And that was a
Exactly.
big discussion that we had was I go back to different seasons and different parts of the years, and where, oh, well, part of this season we went here, when we went to, we stayed at the Carriage House in, over there in Buckhead, Atlanta, Georgia. Just super cool place. Was able to do some work, went out to do some work like Coca-Cola and things like that, but also had a great experience attached to it. And I think that's so important to try to break up the monotony of what you're doing. Have some purpose to it. So it wasn't just randomly just pick a place on the map, which if you do that, that's cool. But I definitely want to know where I'm going, what's the surrounding, and more than just a getaway, but what am I going to and what's the experience with it? And so for entrepreneurs and people that don't necessarily have a set 8 to 5, there's a lot of creativity that we need to have. And now I would say here's the difficulty. It's like if you're working at a warehouse, it's easy to quantify. I put in 40 hours and my muscles are sore. But when you're an entrepreneur, how do you know what you really, the actual hours? Because even when you're driving, there's still that mental stress. Even when you're just sometimes just sitting down at home watching TV, you're thinking about what's going on and that client that you didn't reach back to, that email that you didn't get. We talk about this all the time. I'll wake up at sometimes 2 in the morning, and I'll reach over, type some notes on my phone because I'm like, oh man, I got to get back to this client. I know that this deadline's due. So when you total up all those hours throughout a week, is it really just 20 hours? Maybe you're in meetings for 10 hours, for 15 hours, but what's the real total of time that you invested in it? And if the only time that you're getting away from that is when you have these quote unquote vacations, in my opinion, this is my own humble opinion. Um, I've got too much life to live. There's too many yards on the field that I want to cover just to wait for these random moments in my life to say, okay, now we're going to have this Disneyland trip experience, versus let me design. There's that word I used earlier. Let me set up and design my life in context of, yeah, I'm doing work, but these are the enjoyment moments. You know, I cut away from the family for a couple hours. You know, we come up here, you know, we take care of this call, handle some business. And then right after that, I'm going to be down there petting some alpacas and some horses and walking around the winery with a glass of wine. And I think as you design the day, that's
Yeah.
something I can get into. You know, that puts a smile on the face. You know, that is
Yeah.
that's the recharge that you're talking about.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. I think you there's seasons in which you can do that, and there's seasons in which you have to understand like what speed you're actually in. Because there's seasons, as you probably know, just like just going and you're just grind out hustle mode. You're just getting into it.
Yeah.
You're doing what you need to do. There is no break time or whatever. You have to. It's a full sprint. It's not a slow jog where you can take some time off and stuff. It's this is a full sprint, and then you get to the seasons to where you need to take those sabbaticals so you can get back to who you are and what's important overall. Because if you sometimes we talked about this the other day, there's some times where you're in the momentum and you just can't take a break at will because you're mentally not even in that space to even enjoy it or get a full rest. And I feel
Hmm.
as a lot of people surrounding us would not necessarily understand that. It's just like, no, we don't necessarily make our own schedule. There needs to be time where you need to mentally block out to truly be present.
Right. And I'll take that one step further. We don't make our own schedule, but we can decide how we allocate the time and the location of where we spend our time. So I don't have to be present. You know, there's something called, you know, the activity. So I can literally be here, you know, in a mountaintop in, you know, the San Diego hills, and we can be doing the same thing that we were there at the studio, be able to make it seamless. And so that's one thing that as entrepreneurs, you know, we have to set it up and design it in context of the overall goal. And you know, here's a little tip, by the way. This is my Airbnb tip for anyone out there listening to it. I do a lot of week trips. I do a lot of trips during the week. I'll give you two reasons why. Typically, it's usually about 30 to 40% cheaper. So that's you can pay me my commission on that one when I save you some money. And then places are less crowded. So the winery that I'm going to go to downstairs where over the weekend it might be super packed. And by the way, if you want that crowd, you know, that packed crowd, and you want to wait 3 hours for things, hey, that's the life you're living in, and more power to you. Me, or my point in life, I want more connections of peace. I want to get in, I want to get out. I want to be able to have my moment of solitude where I can have my cup of coffee and I'm not rushed with, you know, 16 people right behind me. And so typically I'll do those breaks during midweek, so that way I do have that time to be able to enjoy, you know, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the setting of where we're at. But at the same time, it also frees up more time to be able to get into workflow where I can spend these 2 hours and I can connect with this at work. So once again, it just goes back to how do you design? Are you having some thought about the day? And not, are you just waking up and are you falling into default? Or are you building into design? And I think that's a really key concept for a lot of people is, are you designing your week, your month, your year, which in a sense you're designing your life, or are you defaulting? If you default, you roll out of bed, whatever time you wake up, you're relying upon the clock. Sometimes you're tired, you hit snooze, then you're hitting traffic. For me, you will always be behind the eight ball. You will always be playing catch up. You're always going to be then standing behind the next guy or girl in line to try to get your place. But if you set it up with design in mind, you're really putting yourself in a king or queen's position. You're really setting yourself in a super position for that next step that you want to go into.
Exactly. It's all about the intention before the creation. And so to make sure
Hmm.
that you're not just going into things blindly overall. And that I think that also comes back to planning out times to actually like really just be in a position where you can plan out time to just step away. And some seasons you may not even have that time. You may need your time to step away may be giving yourself an hour of TikTok a day or whatever it may be. Or I don't know if you're
Oh,
on a
please don't,
budget.
please don't do,
What's the budget?
please don't do that with your life,
Hey,
dude.
I'll,
That
I'm
that's
hey hey hey. A lot of
Hey,
people do that, so let's just not.
I
Yeah,
think I think the last time I spent an hour on TikTok, I literally lost like brain cells. Like my IQ
Oh
like
no, it
dropped
wasn't.
just because
It
of it.
wasn't an hour. It's more than an
Like five
hour.
minutes.
That's the TikTok rabbit hole is a real thing.
Mhm.
All right, so how are some ways if they're not there in the entrepreneurial journey, or they're in a season of purely investing, what are some things they can do that could still be a takeaway, and something that can do in like that's on a budget?
Uh, you got to search, you got to learn, ask questions. Google Magic, my friend, Google Magic. I mean, it's amazing when you type in free fun things to do. And so, one thing at a very young age, I learned this. Say, give yourself a gift. Give a gift to yourself. It could just be that nice cup of coffee that you love, served just the way that you want it. Enjoy it. Give yourself 2, 3 minutes of solitude and just sit and be still. It's okay to be quiet. It's okay to be a little bit uncomfortable with the silence and don't even have a thought. Like, give yourself a gift. Just enjoy it. Slam this cup of coffee back and go, life is good. And that's just something, by the way, and that costs you what, $1 at home to do. Sometimes I'll find my place. I always say, especially if you don't have the ability to do any type of traveling or go places, there's always a park. There's a park with a river. Find some water. I tell people, go find a water feature, by you where there's that sitting water. Take a journal. Those are things that take little to no money, but people don't take advantage of. There's
Yeah,
this up the street from my house. There's this beautiful lake, and it's amazing. We pay money to live in this community with this lake. I will go there so many times throughout a month, and I will literally be the only person there. And it's funny, people will buy. Oh, we got this lake up the street from us. Oh, look at this beautiful lake, but they never take the time to enjoy it. And so what I've found over time is people value things that they pay money for. They don't tend to value things that come for free. But
you
in
know,
life, and this
yeah,
is what I'm saying, this old school, and you've heard this before, the best things in life are
free.
free.
And it's funny. Like whenever I would travel outside of California for work or whatever, I would always think to myself, "Oh, I can go to the beach. I can do all this stuff." I can't tell you when the last time. Well, it wasn't that long ago, but yeah, I can't tell you the last time I was actually at the beach and actually put my feet in the actual sand. I'll go have a meeting at the pier, but it's actually like
I,
be
I, I,
on the beach.
I know you. You were at the bar having that $15 spicy margarita. I know you. That's what you was doing in there.
That's
I
your
couldn't call
drink.
you
I'm a
out.
whiskey man.
Oh, I forgot. Okay.
That's your drink.
Oh yeah.
I'm a whiskey man. I'm doing my whiskey.
Okay, I'll get
All
whiskey.
right.
Real man drink whiskey. All right, I got that one. I got
All right. Perfect. Okay. So just to wrap this up, so you can get back to your sanctuary. What are okay? What is one podcast you're listening to while you're out there? What is what's the focal point vision wise? And what is one lesson or thought that is circulating in your mind? So podcast, vision, and then also thought.
it. Ooh, podcast vision thought. Okay, so I always do two podcasts, two books at a time. I usually do one that's spiritual, in more humanistic, more just to the soul, feel good, or whether it's something that's more in depth, spiritually enlightening. And then I do a one that's more business context. So I always do two. I don't know why. That's just kind of over the years. I've just kind of always developed. So if I'm doing a book or if I'm doing a podcast, so there's actually a podcast. I'm gonna do a shout out plug that I was actually on one episode. A very good friend of mine. He has it's called "It's Your Business, Lead It." So that's Dr. Ron Hurst. Shout out Dr. Ron Hurst. A really good
Mhm.
informational podcast on how to manage your people. From mid level to upper executive. And so I think for me that's a key that I know I need to focus on as far as becoming a better leader and just with the people that I work with. I hate saying people that work for me, but people that I work with. How do I manage people better? How am I a better leader? in any sense of business that I'm doing. And then there's another one, and oh my goodness, I'm going to forget the name of it. But Jefferson Bethke, and I want to make sure it's I'll make sure that we get the right name at the bottom of it. But it's some kind of a family foundation. Really good podcast. I got kids, and it just talks about the biggest takeaway that I'm getting right now is treating your children with a legacy mindset, and all the things that you do today will ultimately affect when you're long gone. They whatever you implant and put into them will live on with them, and with the grandkids and other generations. When you've left this green earth, and so just once again, just teaching it to live in live your life with greater purpose, vision, and destiny. Um, and then your next question was vision. Oh
Yeah,
man,
vision.
so with vision, actually, let's do this. Let's do this. But and by the way, this is a little bit of a flex. So for this winery, when you rent out the villa, you get this. When I say you get this, you get the villa. There's the winery downstairs. You get the whole place. You get the alpacas, the winery, and and guess what? You get to use this space. So we're walking around a couple acres. So I'll take you guys with me. I might even just hop in. You guys want to go with me to happy hour? Let's just go to happy hour right now. So
I
part of the
don't even know what
vision.
an alpaca looks like, but I want to sip wine next to one.
So and by the way, part of the vision is actually having vision of what you can see, but it's gotta start with the mind first, right? And so part of the vision is some of the big plans, it's some of the big crazy life ideas, and where do we start it? What's that seed that you plant it with? And it's so crazy when I look at some of the things over my life that I've done. It was because of a place that I went or a conversation that I had. It wasn't always, the business class, or it wasn't always that business podcast that gave you XYZ. It was in a networking event, or it was in a random conversation, with the colleague that seemingly was unrelated to destiny, but it left
Mhm.
enough of an imprint. And so for vision, just really, this is the time where, after this, I'm probably gonna wake up early in the morning. I'm really big on my journal, notebook writing. Gonna come out here, do some prayers, just get some good connectivity going on. Probably sit at that table right there. Probably sit right there, and just do some journal writing and plan. Okay, next steps, immediate steps, and then the dream big stuff. What's in store 5 years, 10 years between now and then. What are the things that I want to accomplish? So that's the big vision stuff right there. So.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. What's the thoughts? What's your reoccurring thoughts?
Oh, the reoccurring thoughts. Let's go. Just get it into gear. This is go time. There's no play play life in this one. Like this is real. Get it done. Move at it, and instead of thinking about it. And I guess one of the thought that I had the other day was, am I talking about business? Am I talking about what I want to do more than I'm actually spending the time doing what I'm going to do? And so with that, I think I'm actually going to go into the winery right now. So I'll give you guys a little sneak peek into to what this is going to look like. So that's part of the next vision. So other than that, any final questions?
That's it, man. Enjoy yourself.
I definitely will. All right,
All right.
everyone. See you guys.